Ty Bollinger. Welcome back to The Truth About Detox. I hope you enjoyed episode 1 and that you learned some valuable information to help you in your efforts to detoxify your body and to achieve optimal health. But just in case you missed episode 1, or you may have forgotten some of the information, I know it was full of facts and figures. Here's a brief recap. Much of the stigma about detoxification goes back to the battle between Antoine Béchamp and Louis Pasteur and the cellular theory versus the germ theory of disease. Pasteur's germ theory proclaimed that germs, viruses, bacteria, etc. are the cause of illness, whereas Béchamp's cellular theory noted that these germs that Pasteur was so terrified of were actually opportunistic in nature, and it was only when the tissue of the host became compromised or damaged that the germs, the bacteria, began to manifest as a prevailing symptom and not cause of disease. Béchamp advocated not the killing of germs, but the cultivation of health through diet, hygiene, and healthy lifestyle practices like fresh air, good nutrition, exercise. Pasteur's germ theory won the battle, and as a result, modern medicine isn't concerned about the internal terrain of the person, but only concerned with killing the germs, the bacteria, the viruses. But many physicians today disagree with this thesis, and they advocate detoxification as a primary method of keeping the internal terrain of our bodies clean and healthy. Now again, the primary organs that we focus on detoxifying are the skin, liver, colon, intestines, kidneys, and the lungs. Cleaning up the gut system, also known as the microbiome, is the first step. Of course, avoiding GMOs and eating organic foods is key to cleansing the intestines, but 99% of people out there really need to cleanse their colon, also known as the large intestine. In episode 1, several doctors shared their tips on the most effective methods to do just that. Again, colon cleansing is step number 1 because if the colon is congested, the toxins cannot leave the body and they will be reabsorbed. This is not good. Cleansing the body from harmful organisms is also essential, and in episode 1, Dr. Ed Group shared some of the natural herbs that are effective at ridding the body of these pesky pests, parasites. Finally, Mike Adams discussed the importance of ingesting clean foods and clean water since these are the building blocks of clean blood. So, are you ready for episode 2? I know that you are. Let's get rolling. To begin the episode, Mike Adams, the Health Ranger, has some poignant comments about our body's natural ability to detoxify. Let's have a listen.
When you think about detox, your body is doing it 24/7 and you can't turn it off. You don't have to will your kidneys to work, right? And for all those watching, have you ever tried to turn off your liver? You can't. Your body is doing this 24/7 no matter what. It's going to try to detoxify. Your liver is literally changing the molecular configuration of chemicals circulating in your blood. And it's doing it by following the laws of biochemistry, following cause and effect. It's doing it because you were born with this incredible brilliance and this vitality. That's a gift to us all. You're built to be healthy. And so your body's eliminating these things. All you have to do is give it the tools to eliminate. And one of those tools is just water, by the way, clean water. Water is a solvent. Water will extract things from food. Water will pull out many, many toxic things and it'll flush out of your body if you have enough water. But if you're drinking soda all day, then you've deprived your body of the water that it needs to detoxify.
That's why it's so important, I guess, to begin with the colon. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Because of that?
Right.
The overall burden?
Right. You want to reduce the accumulated waste in the system.
And also because everything goes through the colon to be excreted, right? So
Right. It's the garbage can. If you start with a full garbage can, you're going to dump more in it. You're just going to make a mess.
Yeah.
And that's what happens, So you go from you dump the garbage can, get the trash out. Yeah. Then we have to go into the filtration systems. Okay. If we work bottom up, okay, no pun intended. Start with the colon, all right? Then we go on to the kidneys, okay? The kidneys are going to pick up for anything the liver doesn't deal with. Okay? And so before we go detoxing the liver, we need to clean up the kidneys, because if the liver doesn't deal with something, the kidneys are going to have to deal with it. They'll have to deal with it.
So you got to get them up to par first.
Exactly. We've got to clear, again, remove the waste flush the waste out of those, the kidneys second, so that they're functioning at full capacity when you then move on to the liver.
What are the imperatives for people that are watching to know about kidney cleansing?
Kidneys regulate water, okay? They regulate water and minerals in our body. The kidneys, the nephrons, the kidney cells, actually have receptor sites for minerals. As they filter the water in your body, they determine what minerals stay or leave in your system. And so, healthy kidneys will maintain healthy mineral levels in your body, because they'll hold on to certain things if you're low, and they'll let go of other things if you're too high. Okay, so they level everything out. When they become toxic, they stop doing that. Okay, and you start building up salts, quote unquote, or they call them stones.
Kidney stones.
Kidney
That's what they are, a
stones.
salt.
Exactly, it's a salt. Okay. And you'll start getting salt deposits elsewhere, like in your arteries. They call it arteriosclerosis, okay, which is calcification of the arteries. Okay, it's basically a calcium salt being laid down in an artery. Okay, and that actually goes back to healthy kidneys.
Okay.
Okay, they're not regulating the minerals in your system.
So back to the kidneys. Sorry.
Back to the kidneys. So
digressed
parsley. There's, common things: parsley, watermelon, cilantro, all very good. Ginger root, excellent for cleaning the kidneys and whatnot.
So we like to make salads that have parsley, cilantro in them, and
Perfect.
Fresh ginger, fresh garlic. So that's
Perfect.
all kidney
friendly.
Okay.
Exactly.
To recap what Doc Newsom just said, the kidneys maintain a water-mineral balance in the body. They regulate blood pressure, and they filter waste from the blood in the form of urine, which in turn cleans the bladder. When that mineral balance goes out of whack, kidney stones result. Some of the most potent herbs that detoxify the kidneys are parsley, watermelon, cilantro, and ginger. In this next segment, Dr. Judy Seeger shares her go-to herbs for detoxifying the kidneys. How might somebody detox the kidneys?
Yeah, so my go-to herbs for that, there's herbs, there's food, and there's sweating. So we talked about sweating, so that's easy, right? But the main herbs for that, number one herb that I absolutely love for kidneys is juniper berries. I used to have kidney stones. I used to have a lot of stuff. I used to have kidney stones, gallstones, and constipation and chronic fatigue when I was in my 20s. Really serious stuff. And then I was sick all the time. And because my family had a lot of cancer issues, I didn't want to go down that route. So I knew I had to change. So that's how I learned. And then when I opened my clinic, I started applying all these stuff after I became a naturopath and realizing, wow, there's a bunch of stuff we could help people with on a regular basis. And I saw results. So, after tens of thousands of people, it was like, hey, this is working. Now I have to teach more people how to do it so it becomes an integral part of their day, right? So kidneys, the issue people used to come in to see me in the clinic was they were swollen all the time. They have, especially after cancer, but and a lot of diseases, they take medication, and so they have swelling in their ankles, swelling in their legs, their arms, whatever, and that's a kidney issue. So first thing I say is, okay, drink more water.
Because people are typically dehydrated.
Yeah, especially on medication, yeah. But the issue is not just that, is they need to have something to help flush the kidneys out. And juniper berries is the number one go-to herb. Okay. Juniper herbs, and it doesn't taste bad. It's something I could drink. I don't mind it. It's a very mild herb. But juniper berries has nutrients in there that helps to flush the kidneys out. So, for example, when I had my kidney stones, I was in a lot of pain. I mean, it's debilitating. And I would drink it and immediately have relief. I mean, it works that fast. So
you're talking about juniper berry tea or
yeah,
herb?
So they're little berries. They're little tiny berries.
So you eat the berries?
Yeah, no. So it's dried herb that looks like dried up blueberries. That's exactly what they look like. So you buy the herbs and then you take a teaspoon and you put it in a cup and you pour some boiling water over it and you let it steep for 15 minutes, and that's your juniper berry tea. Okay. Yeah. Now you could eat the juniper berries if you want to. I like it.
But you just filter it out.
But you filter it out normally, and then you drink. Now here's the key: not 1 cup a day. So many people would say, "Oh, well, I drank a cup a day and it didn't do anything." I'm like, this is not like medication. Medication you could take once a day and you're good. It doesn't work like that in the natural world. You have to take a lot more. So you need to take, I don't know, a teaspoon in a cup, at least 3 cups a day. It's not going to hurt you. You could take 4 or 5 cups a day. That's fine.
Can you throw in some lemon and stevia to make it taste better? I mean,
If you want to, yeah, you could ramp it up. But here are the other herbs that are really, really good for the kidneys to flush it out. There's uva ursi, there's corn silk, and there's cleavers. So all those 4 herbs, again, those are my Fab 4 for the kidney. You take those 4 herbs, you can mix them up, or just one at a time, whatever you want to do, or whatever you could find. But you take those herbs and you steep it in, and again, 4 or 5 times a day. So that's for kidney cleanse. But if you want to just keep it on the regular daily is what we're talking about, a cup, half a cup, that's fine. But if you're doing a regular cleanse, now you need more, 4 or 5 cups a day, right? So that's the issue there. The other one is sweating, we said, kidney, and then, for the food. So the food, watermelon. Watermelon season.
I love watermelon.
I'm glad. That's good for you.
Yeah?
Yeah. The first time I ever did a kidney cleanse and I ate this massive watermelon, I mean, literally, I ate like a half a watermelon. I woke up in the middle of the night, doubled over in pain, because the kidney stone was trying to flush out. And I was like, excruciating pain. Like, you never had a baby, so you don't get it, but it's like having 10 babies at one time. It was horrible. It was really bad. So I learned again. And so when I did my clinic, I was like, okay, guys, 1 piece of watermelon. I mean, it's that powerful, but chew the seeds, because the real key component in watermelon is the seeds.
In most cases of kidney failure, the reason the kidneys fail is due to scar tissue accumulation or formation in the kidneys, okay? In scar tissue forms where there's lots of inflammation, okay? I explain inflammation, the contrast here is, let's say, a river that's flowing doesn't stay toxic very long, okay? Because it washes out, right?
Yeah, I know where you're going.
All right. A pond that is stagnant, that water goes bad fast, okay? So if I hurt my knee and it swells up like this and I don't have good circulation going through it, that water in my knee is going to go bad. And that becomes inflammation and stays chronic. Okay, so my knee, now 2 years later, still hurts, even though the swelling is gone. It's gone back down to normal size. But the water, quote unquote, in my knee has gone bad. And that, this is an analogy here.
It makes a lot of sense.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so in any tissue that happens, that's when scar tissue forms. Okay, and in the
And
kidneys.
that's why kidneys fail.
Right.
It's scar tissue.
Most cases, you're looking at scar tissue forming, and so they, instead of having healthy kidney cells, you have scar tissue that gets replaced, and the kidneys just don't function then because the healthy cells are being replaced by scar tissue.
Kidney cleanse is lighter and easier. We focus on things like nettles tea. You can juice nettles. Springtime is a wonderful time to go picking nettles. With your gloves, of course. But once you juice it, doesn't sting your tongue. People ask me that all the time. And it
Stinging nettles, right?
I know,
Yeah.
stinging nettles, but
Yeah.
it doesn't sting your tongue. You can make tea out of it or just buy it loose leaf or in tea bags.
Okay.
Wonderful for cleansing the kidneys. And then on top of that, cranberry juice, unsweetened cranberry. And you can make your own cranberry juice or you can just get unsweetened cranberry. And again, for a kidney cleanse, wonderful to do a juice fast. Even if it's a short one, like 1, 2, or 3 days. And using things like lemon and cucumber and asparagus that are natural diuretics really begin to cleanse those kidneys.
The next is urination pathway. A lot of people's urination pathways are shut down and because they're not drinking enough water. A lot of the things people are drinking are going to be dehydrating. And so how do we open up the urination pathway? Pure, clean water. I always recommend distilled, and then what I do is add certified organic kombucha or apple cider vinegar or a pinch of sea salt, anything that's going to reactivate that distilled water and bring back that life to it, bring back those minerals inside of it.
I love those ideas from Dr. Group on how to reactivate distilled water and, in the end, open up the urination pathway, which is really the same thing as detoxifying the kidneys. Now, also, Sherry Calbome, the juice lady, just gave us some powerful ideas for detoxifying the kidneys with natural diuretics like lemon, cucumbers, and asparagus. I also like to personally use lemon and peppermint essential oils to make a really, really healthy lemonade and help detoxify my body daily. What I do is I take just a glass of water, I put a few drops of lemon essential oil, a few drops of peppermint essential oil, stir it up, and it's a real good refreshing lemonade that I make. It's not necessarily going to taste exactly what you're used to with lemonade, but it's really, really healthy, and it gets these essential oils into your body. And it also acts as a really good natural preventive for halitosis or bad breath. So that's a great idea that you can incorporate essential oils into your regimen each day through making healthy lemonade with lemon and peppermint essential oils. The benefits of lemon oil include its ability to treat stress disorders, fever, infections, asthma, obesity, insomnia, and even skin disorders. Also hair conditions, stomach problems, and even tiredness. Lemon essential oil also contains D-limonene, which is a substance contained in citrus fruits that's been proven to minimize the incidence of colon, skin, liver, stomach, and pancreatic cancers. Interestingly, D-limonene is also the substance in lemon essential oil and many other citrus essential oils that is used in cleaners. So a lot of the times you've seen on the commercial Lemon Fresh Pledge, well, that's a lemon essential oil. It helps to really clean surfaces very well as cleaning your body. Now, Dr. Judy Seeger just shared her Fab 4 for the kidneys, which is juniper, uva ursi, corn silk, and cleavers. In this next segment, she shares some great ideas on how to begin each day in a simple yet effective detoxifying way.
You wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you do?
Drink a glass of water.
Right, so if you wanted to do something to take it up to the next level, you drink warm water, room temperature water, because something that's really cold, like if you take water out of the refrigerator, then that puts a shock to your
it's always
system,
room
right?
temperature, sure.
But you add a lemon to it. You take a fresh lemon, you squeeze it, like a half a lemon, and you squeeze in that water and you drink it down. And what does that do? Two things. One, it makes your body more alkaline. Anything that makes your more body alkaline helps your pH and then keeps the disease low, right? The chance of disease coming in. The other thing is it helps your liver. So anything that gets your liver cleansed out is excellent. And lemon does it. It's simple, but it has to be fresh. So many times people ask me, they say, well, what about using that lemon concentrate stuff? It doesn't work the same. It's the fresh lemon, the enzymes in that makes a difference. So half a lemon, squeeze it in, drink it down.
A functioning good liver is able to actually process and neutralize some of these things. A good functioning intestinal tract with the proper type of probiotics in there living, and probiotics actually control the production of neurotransmitters too, your serotonin, your dopamine, things like that. If you have a healthy gut, really you have a healthy body. The liver's like the oil filter kind of in your car. When it's clogged up, it's fatty. There's non-alcoholic fatty disease right now being diagnosed in 12-year-olds and 15-year-olds. I mean, as early as, teenagers and
because
earlier.
of the liver.
Because of all the hydrogenated fats, because of all the toxins in the foods, the microwave foods, everything else that's clogging the liver and not allowing the liver to actually process. And it's another reason why people with high blood pressure, they start getting high blood pressure, they run to the doctor's office and they get put on high blood pressure medication. Well, if you think of the things in a step-by-step manner of how things can happen, and it's very easy, you say, okay, what if I had a congested oil filter in my car and the oil was trying to push through there? It's going to show high oil pressure because it can't go through the filter. Well, when the blood can't filter through the liver, the heart has to pump faster and harder to pump it through there because the liver's fatty, cirrhotic, it's all congested with stones. People have liver stones just like gallbladder stones. So the heart has to work more. That's the body saying, hey, you need to clean out your liver. I've never had a case of high blood pressure where someone didn't do 1, 2, or 3 liver cleanses where their blood pressure didn't come back to normal.
The liver has 4 different methods in a 2-phase cycle of filtration. Okay, the 4 methods are, number 1, conjugation. Okay, conjugation means bonding to, and so there's a acid that should be amply supplied in our diet called glucuronic acid. Okay, glucuronic acid is primarily it's found in the highest amounts in root vegetables, root herbs, and cruciferous vegetables. Okay, glucuronic acid. The liver uses glucuronic acid it's like its front line of defense against toxins, okay? But if we are not consuming those types of vegetables in particular, we're not getting that acid. Okay. Therefore, the liver has to store those toxins instead of get rid of them. It has nothing to bond them to toss them out.
And name the vegetables again?
Cruciferous vegetables, root herbs, and root vegetables.
Okay, so the big cruciferous vegetables are broccoli and cauliflower we think of, right?
Exactly.
Brussels sprouts are
sprouts,
considered cruciferous.
exactly. Kale.
And then what about the roots? Ginger?
You got ginger root, ginseng,
Okay.
you got
Turmeric?
right? Oh,
So
yeah.
if you're watching this, you listen to those cruciferous veggies and those roots. Are you eating those?
Right.
And if
Are we
not,
consuming them?
then you're not getting enough that you're taking in for your
Right.
liver to have the glucuronic acid.
Right, yes.
Right.
This glucuronic acid, if you're not getting that, that's about 70% of your liver's detox capacity is impaired.
So then in your liver detox formula, you have some of those.
We have a substance called calcium deglucarate, which is glucuronic acid bound to calcium, very bioavailable form. We have that in conjunction with other herbs. We have milk thistle, your standards in there, and they work really well at ramping up that conjugation phase.
What gets the liver to release toxins? We mentioned already, first off, is lemon, right? That's very gentle, very easy. But then the other thing is bitter foods. Like, I hate bitter foods, but now I like it because it makes me feel good.
Like, what do you mean by bitter foods?
Bitter foods, arugula is great. Beets are not considered bitter foods technically, but it's got a stimulation on the liver. All the foods that get you so that the liver says, hey, it's time to let go. It's time to release those toxins. So the herbs, the bitter herbs, are dandelion root, Oregon grapefruit, turkey, rhubarb, burdock root.
Those are also in the ESSEAC formula.
Some of them. So
Yeah.
the ESSEAC has 5, yes, and it has some of them, yes. So people could take the ESSEAC formula, or they could take the individual herbs. So those are I call them my Fab 4 herbs, because you could take dandelion root, make it in tea, and then drink it down. You could take it in a tincture, take a little bit every day, just a little bit like that. Will just get the liver going.
So, okay, reiterate your Fab 4 for the liver, or what again?
Yeah, so the Fab 4 for the liver, you've got your dandelion root, your burdock root, your turkey, and your Oregon grapefruit.
Turkey rhubarb?
Yeah, turkey rhubarb. So those 4 herbs. Now, sometimes people have a hard time finding it, and I'm like, and so they say, well, what about in capsules? Capsules are okay. Capsules are fine. I don't think it's as potent and as fresh. But when you use those herbs fresh, you're going to get the most bang for your buck, and that's the best. So
you're making a tea out of them?
You're making a tea. So how do you do the tea? Is you take now these are roots. So roots are very different than flower herbs, right? Flower herbs, like I just said, the juniper or the uva ursi and the cleavers, those are easy. You steam them for 15 minutes. But the root herbs, not so much. The root herbs, what you want to do is you take a tablespoon of the dandelion root and you put it in a cup. And then in the meantime, you're going to boil your water, and you put it in the cup, and then you let that sit there for 4 hours, right? 4 hours. Now, if you want to, now that's really extracting all the nutrients from them, because it's a root, it's hard, and you want to get all the nutrients from there, right? So for 4 hours, you have to let it steep. Now, to ramp it up for those people who are advanced and want to spend a little extra time and get more out of it, then they put it back in the pot. So this cup with the tea that we just soaked for 4 hours, you're going to put it back in the pot, and you're going to let it sit there and simmer for at least 20 minutes. What that does is the heat then gets all the root, everything in there, and really pulls it out. and gets it so that it's extracted thoroughly. So you're getting a lot more for it. So you might get half the potency in that cup after 4 hours, but when it's been in the pot and it's been boiling like that, wow, now you doubled your money on that. So it's going to be stronger and it's going to have that bitter taste.
Okay.
Yeah, you won't mind. I do.
Yeah, but that's good advice for people to do that, so they get the most bang for their buck.
Yeah, exactly. And the trick is to again sip on that, because it doesn't, that one you don't have to drink it down so fast, because again, if your liver is toxic, especially those people who've been through chemo and radiation, especially those people who've been on medication, especially people who've been on a chronic degenerative journey for a long, long time, their liver is very, very toxic, right? So for them to take like a cup of that right away, they are definitely not going to feel good, especially if their colon's not cleansed out. So it's really important to just, maybe a quarter of a cup. And then a couple hours later, another quarter of a cup. Another few hours, another quarter of a cup, right? Just easy, right?
Don't slam it.
Don't slam it.
Yeah.
Don't have to rush. We're not in a rush here. People are like, get the toxins out of me. I need this nasty stuff out. And I'm like, yes, you do. And back in the day, 30 years ago when I was practicing, that's how we were taught. Yeah, just throw them against the wall and get rid of those toxins all at one time. And that's when people were throwing up and getting very sick and just really, truly not feeling.
They were doing too fast.
Too much, too fast. That's really what it came down to.
Yeah.
And so over the years, what I've learned is slow it down, make it more practical, give it a little bit at a time throughout the day, and then they don't have the results like that. The next part of that is either doing a coffee enema or a colonic, right? I personally like colonics better, but they're more expensive and they're inconvenient. I understand that. So I think Dr. Gerson did a great job of putting that on the map of having coffee enemas, because they're convenient, they're cheap, and they're easy, right? But the challenge with coffee enemas, it doesn't always get up into the colon and through all the way up to the liver. It takes a lot of work to get up there. But it works, and if that's all people have, then do it. Anything to get the colon, to release the toxins is great. But really, for a good colon cleanse, colon hydrotherapy by far. If people could afford even doing one to just kind of get things moving, and get a colon therapist who massages and get things, it's fantastic. It's great. I used to be a colon hydrotherapist, and I would massage the abdomen, and just got great results with that. People felt really, really good when that stuff came out.
I know this isn't a subject that's popular at the dinner table, is it? But detoxifying the colon and the liver with things like coffee enemas is essential to optimal health. Now, just in case you aren't familiar with the functions of the liver, here's a brief summary. The liver has two large sections called the right lobe and the left lobe. Interestingly, the liver is the only organ in the body that can completely regenerate itself. So what does the liver do? The liver produces bile. Now, bile takes waste and breaks down fats in the small intestine. The liver produces proteins that are also needed to make blood plasma. It produces cholesterol, and it also produces proteins that help carry fats through the body. The liver converts glucose to glycogen, which is used for energy. It also regulates amino acids. It processes hemoglobin. The liver stores iron. It eliminates drugs and toxins from the blood. Right? That's a big one. Regarding this last function of the liver, eliminating toxins and drugs from the blood, I want to explain how this happens. In order to do this, the liver uses a two-phase enzymatic process to neutralize unwanted chemical compounds, including drugs, pesticides, toxins, as well as hormones and inflammatory chemicals like histamines. Typically, this two-phase detox process will take fat-soluble toxins and convert them to water-soluble waste. The phase 1 detoxification of most chemical toxins involves a group of between 50 and 100 enzymes, which collectively have been named the cytochrome P450 enzymes. Now, these enzymes reside on the membranes of the liver cells called hepatocytes. Human liver cells possess the genetic code for many types of P450 enzymes, so when the body is exposed to different toxins, the liver will be induced to synthesize specific enzymes that are required to neutralize them. This mechanism protects the body from the damaging effects of a wide variety of toxic chemicals. This pathway neutralizes the toxin by simply converting it into something that is chemically in smaller pieces that will be handed over to phase 2, or alternatively makes it water soluble, which allows its excretion by the kidneys or through sweating. This pathway uses various chemical reactions such as oxidation, reduction, and hydrolysis. Now, what exactly did I just say? To put it simply, Phase 1 liver detox pathway converts a toxic chemical into a less harmful chemical so that our body can get rid of it. It's important to remember that a significant side effect of phase 1 detoxification is the production of free radicals as the toxins are transformed. For each molecule of toxin metabolized by phase 1, one free radical molecule is generated. Without adequate free radical defenses, every time the liver neutralizes a toxin, it's damaged by the free radicals that it produces. Antioxidants like glutathione, vitamin C and E, carotenoids, selenium, and flavonoids like quercetin reduce the damage that are caused by these free radicals.
The analogy I use here insofar as detoxification goes and how this works in our body is kind of like throwing out the trash. All right, so there's two different phases that are most important. We're learning about a phase 3, but park that for a moment. Two phases. Phase 1, detoxification. Phase 2, detoxification. When you throw out the trash, you typically separate the trash for, disposable. You want to, recycle some stuff, or maybe it's compost you're throwing out into the backyard. That's a conscious, moment in time in the kitchen once you're making dinner. Where does this particular garbage go? Bodies do the same thing. But that's phase 1. Phase 2, you got to get that trash to the curbside. Otherwise, the city is not picking it up, right? Phase 1 is just as important as phase 2. If you accumulate toxins in your body because the city's not coming to pick it up, you've got problems. You're storing it. It's accumulating in your fat tissue. So there are some, incredible natural medicines that help to serve us to empower phase 1, getting that sort of recyclables over here, true trash over here, or phase 2, getting it over to the curbside. Some of my favorites, milk thistle. Again, those things that we can use to increase the amount of glutathione in our body, which are selenium, N-acetylcysteine, which is a naturally occurring sulfur-based amino acid, and alpha-lipoic acid. So those things we can supplement orally, or you can actually push, which is using intravenous glutathione. And if you really have problems such as chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, these diagnoses of exclusion, you are known to have accumulations of toxins because you've done some testing in your body, getting a glutathione push or intravenously directly into your veins is an incredible solution to help empower your own ability to throw away. There's been over 76,000 studies done on glutathione, and it's probably one of the things in North America that we are most deficient in because we do have such a toxic burden here.
Phase 2 liver detox, also called conjugation, is basically a wrapping effect wherein toxins and their intermediate compounds that are left over from phase 1 are neutralized and they're made water soluble so they can be excreted from the body via watery fluids like bile or urine. For efficient phase 2 detox, the liver cells require sulfur-containing amino acids like taurine and cysteine. Eggs and cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, raw garlic, onions, leeks, and shallots are all good sources of natural sulfur compounds to enhance phase 2 liver detox. Green tea extract also is a potent antioxidant that has phase 2 stimulating properties, and beets are universally recognized as an excellent liver detoxifier.
So here's a tip. Combine things that have selenium in them, like Brazil nuts in your diet. Perhaps consider supplementing with alpha-lipoic acid, and then add to that a little bit of N-acetylcysteine, and those are building blocks to help your body make more glutathione so that you can start tossing away those toxins that may have accumulated over time. What it's hindering most in terms of our cellular biochemistry is ATP formation. And that's the currency within our cells. In every single cell of our body, mitochondria, little storehouses, create the currency of energy in our body called ATP. Toxins hinder that ability to produce this currency of energy. We're walking around like zombies, just can't perform the way we'd ultimately want to perform when it comes to toxic hindrance.
Also, rosemary essential oil, which I use almost on a daily basis, has been shown to possess 2 detoxification mechanisms. One, it inhibits the metabolic activation of procarcinogens that are catalyzed by the cytochrome P450 enzymes. And 2, it induces phase 2 enzymes. This is why I love rosemary essential oil and why I use it almost every day. Now here's a bit of trivia. Mary, the mother of Jesus, is said to have spread her blue cloak over a rosemary bush as she rested, and the white flowers turned blue. The shrub came to be known as the Rose of Mary. Is this true or not? I'm not real sure. It may just be a myth, but it's a neat story regardless. Also, as Dr. Judy Seeger previously mentioned, bitter herbs improve liver detox, both phase 1 and phase 2. We're talking about herbs like milk thistle, which is the most well-researched herb for the treatment of liver disease and liver detoxification. Dandelion root, which stimulates digestion, stimulates the liver to produce more bile. Oregon great root, turkey rhubarb, and burdock root. Also, gentian root extract is a fungicide, and it's also an immune booster, and it possesses anti-inflammatory properties. Now, its bitter principles stimulate the secretion of both gastric juices and bile. Remember, you can find many of the products that I've been mentioning at the website that's on the screen right now. Next up, Dr. Group discusses the importance of olive oil in a liver cleanse.
And initially, I wanted to do a liver cleanse program without someone having to drink the olive oil. You can look at liver cleansing programs all over, and Hulda Clark had it, and I always wondered, why do they have the olive oil in there? But if you look at ancient Ayurvedic therapies, they're very into using oils for detoxification, and they would, soak people's bodies in different types of oils. They pour different oil blends in the eyes, which dissolve glaucoma and increase your vision, hot oils. So the purpose of the oil in the liver cleansing that I found out was that's the way that you do oil pulling of your liver. So when you ingest that much oil and it goes through the body, it stimulates the liver. The oils actually get into the liver because they have to go through there for processing. It sucks out a lot of the chemicals and the toxins, and that's why people have little oil droplets and little, hard, oily substances coming out during liver cleanses. Some people call them stones, but you'll have 2,000 to 3,000 things coming out of your liver whenever you purge it that way. So the liver cleansing is extremely important, and probably one of the most beneficial things that I've seen happen with liver cleansing is after the second day, just this sense of energy that comes back into the body. And
I've heard that from people
it's
that do liver
amazing.
And the coffee enemas too, which helps the liver.
Exactly.
You get that feeling of euphoria, well-being.
That's another thing that you can do with liver cleansing is the coffee enemas. Just make sure you use organic coffee and distilled water, because coffee is one of the most contaminated, toxic things out there that you get heavily sprayed with pesticides and insecticides, 80% of the world's coffee supply. So if you're going to use the coffee enema, make sure you use an organic source.
One of the problems that we run into as human beings is our liver's capacity to take things from fat soluble to water soluble doesn't fully develop till we're 8, 9, 10, 12 years old. Which is why exposure to heavy metals and those types of things are so dangerous in children.
At a young age.
At a young age, okay? They don't have, metals are fat soluble, okay? Your brain, your central nervous system, your hormone producing glands, and your fat cells are all fat-based tissues, okay? So anything that is fat soluble, if it can't get sent out of the body, is gonna get sent back into those tissues, okay? So in children, that's why it's so dangerous for them to be exposed to heavy metals. They don't have the capacity to get rid of them that adults have, okay? They don't convert fat soluble to water soluble as well, okay? And that doesn't fully develop till we're, close to 10 years old.
Which may be one of the reasons we see this rise in autism in young kids, because the mercury and other heavy metals.
Absolutely.
They can't get rid of them.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. It has to go somewhere, in the body. So some of it will go into their fat tissue, some into their hormone producing glands, and some into their brain and spinal cord. Okay, if the body can't get rid of it. So it's an issue.
Yeah.
So what we have to do then is enhance the body's redox and oxidation capacity in the liver, so that it can convert everything from fat soluble to water soluble. Once it's done that, we also have to be able to then drain the liver. Okay, there's a multiple phases here. Once the liver has done all of its concentrating of the toxins, we don't want to leave them there. Coffee enemas are probably the best thing you can do for draining, doing that drainage. And I always tell people, if you're going to do coffee enemas, do not add cream and sugar.
Oh, yeah, it's a special coffee bean.
Special
right?
coffee bean here,
Yeah,
you know.
got it.
So,
What is it in there in your formula that causes the drainage if it's not coffee?
we're looking at actually your milk thistle does a lot of that. Also, NAC, it's N-acetylcysteine. It's a sulfur compound that enhances that conversion, but also leaves things. It's kind of like it packages it so the liver then can just expel those toxins. We have, trimethylglycine, another thing that helps with both that packaging and then having things ready. And then we have burdock root and different, there's a couple of different
Which
herbs.
is one of the ingredients in
The
SCACT.
Exactly, exactly.
What's the name of your products that you've developed?
Optimox.
Optimox.
Optimox Detox System. It's for optimal detoxification.
Optimal detox. Optimox. Okay.
Optimox.
And you've got liver, kidney, colon, and lymph.
Whole 9
Yeah.
yards.
The best detox is the daily detox that your body's doing on its own when you nurture it correctly. So if you think about, poisons come into your body little by little every single day. You get this accumulation, this aggregate effect of poisons over time. But your body is also detoxing little by little every single day, right? So it's a race. If the poisons are coming in like this, and your detox is only keeping up like this, then the net gain of poisons is going to keep going up. That's when you get cancer and disease. But if you have just a little bit of poison coming in, but your detox is powerful, more powerful, then you're eliminating that poison every single day. Now you're cancer free. You don't have diabetes, you don't have heart disease, you don't have Alzheimer's. Your kidneys are working great, your liver's working great, everything's working great.
That's an excellent analogy from Mike Adams, the Health Ranger. It's like a race between the rate of poisons and toxins coming in and the rate at which our bodies can eliminate them, also called detoxification. If we detox at a faster pace than we're ingesting the toxins, everything works great. Now, back to the olive oil and the liver flush. Here's a well-known protocol that's been used to flush the liver. Here's the ingredients. Number 1, organic unpasteurized apple juice. Number 2, organic cold-pressed virgin olive oil. That's it, those 2 ingredients. So here's the way you do it. For 3 days, eat only steamed vegetables like broccoli, cabbage, carrots, spinach, and maybe some brown rice. During that same 3-day period, drink at least half a gallon of filtered or spring water each day, and also drink about a quart of unpasteurized organic apple juice. On the 3rd night, drink about 6 to 7 ounces of the virgin organic cold-pressed olive oil mixed with fresh squeezed lemon juice. To make the mixture more palatable, you might want to add some grapefruit juice or even maybe some pineapple juice. Now, here's the key. Drink it all at once, all the olive oil at once. And immediately after drinking down the olive oil, lie down on your right side in a fetal position with your knees up and remain there for at least half an hour, 30 minutes. Keep a bowl by your head just in case you're nauseated and you want to vomit. Try not to vomit, but just in case. The nausea typically goes away after only a few minutes. Then go to bed. For the next few days, check your stool and see if you pass any greenish black stones. These stones are gallstones, and they may have been blocking your liver detoxification capabilities and keeping you away from better health. In this next segment, Sherry Calbome, the Juice Lady, shares the reasons why juicing should be an integral part of every detoxification protocol.
Juicing, as I see it, is a huge part of detoxification. Whatever else you do, this is very important and should be at the core of what you do for detoxing. And I just have to tell you my story to start off. Years ago, was very ill. I had chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia. I couldn't work, frustrated. I'd sleep 12 hours and get up tired and drag through the day. My mother died of cancer when I was 6 years old, and I felt like I was following in her footsteps. And I was so frustrated, running from doctor to doctor. No one knew what to tell me, and I had not much money to be doing that. So I finally thought, I better go around and do my own homework if I'm ever going to get well. So I started going to health food stores and talking to people, and I realized my diet was horrible. Horrible. I loved junk food, fast food. I didn't like vegetables. No wonder I was sick in my 20s. So I thought, okay, I'll get my first juicer. because people were talking to me about juicing. Start juicing and see what will happen. Well, I'm a go for it person. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it 100%. So I did a 5-day juice fast, veggie juice fast. On day 5, my body expelled a tumor this size with blood vessels attached.
Wow.
That got my attention, totally. People have asked me, was that cancerous? Was it a polyp? Do you know? I don't know. I was young and I was totally flabbergasted. I went, oh my goodness, got rid of that.
You were glad it was out, right?
I'm glad.
Whatever it was.
Whatever it was.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to be done with that.
Yeah.
I think I was following in my mom's footsteps. I don't think I would be here today. She died young, and I don't think I would be here if I hadn't started my journey. So that got my attention like nothing ever did. I thought I'm on the right track. I thought I'd be well the next morning. No, I was not well the next morning. I was detoxing, So I had good days and not so good days as my body was getting rid of toxins. And so I thought, I'm hanging in there. My dad, I had to move home with my stepmother and my father, and he kept saying, I think you're killing yourself. And I thought, well, I'm going to die on carrot juice then, because this is the way I'm going to go. And I hung in there, and one day I woke up and thought, wow, somebody gave me a new body in the middle of the night. I felt like a brand new person. My eyes were sparkling, my skin was glowing. Well, it wasn't just magic. My body all along was cleansing, healing, and restoring. It was just one day I came to the point where I realized it. And I woke up and felt so new. And it's been my passion ever since then to teach people that you too can detox, you can juice, you can feel like a new person. Here's my liver cleanse. It's pretty heavy duty, and I take people through that. It's a 7-day program, and every day you have your morning liver shake. And it's lemon and lime and orange, and you dump those juices in your blender. You add a tablespoon of olive oil, a chunk of ginger root, add garlic in there, and I usually put some ice and water and blend that all up. I think it's really wonderful. Some people go, oh, well, I just down it, they say to me, but you start your day with that. It gets your liver and your gallbladder moving, start moving in the morning, and then you add in your drinks and your beet juice, and we're going to make some drinks with beet juice. I have a beet and berry juice that's really wonderful, and you can add in dandelion root juice, or dandelion leaf juice is wonderful with a lot of complements to it because it's really strong. Dandelion is a wonderful cleanse for the liver as well. And so you juice throughout the day, but you also have a beet salad and a carrot salad, not together. And your beet salad is made with your beet pulp from juicing, and you do a lemon olive oil dressing for that. And your carrot pulp salad is from juicing carrots, and you just pull out a handful of carrot pulp, and that's your salad. And so you have those, a cup of each of those a day, and a broth, a potassium broth made with vegetables. That's your liver cleanse day with maybe some herbs like milk thistle, lots of water, and boy, your liver is going to start getting rid of those toxins. And people notice all sorts of things. They may get little rashes, they might feel a little headache, they might feel tired. This is the bad stuff coming out. And I always say to people, don't run off to the emergency room, don't get a cortisone shot if you get a rash. So you want this to be coming out of your system.
Smell that, it smells so good.
Isn't that wonderful?
It's just bursting with yumminess.
And then here's our stir.
I love it. She starts it with a carrot.
Ooh, that was the color of a rainbow in there, so pretty. It's
Wasn't
very
that
similar
beautiful?
to what we use when we juice.
Yeah, it looks great.
I can
This
smell
is
the
like
ginger.
your
It smells so
morning,
nice.
your morning cocktail.
You were talking about how your body knows what's good for you and you crave it, what helps you. When we did the 30-day juice fast together, and at the end, I think in the liver cleanse, we had to do orange juice with ginger and garlic. To this day, I love that drink. I love it. It's so good.
Wow. Cheers.
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 Here's to healthy livers.
Don't tell her you love her with all your heart. Tell her you love her with all your liver. Because the liver is the most important organ.
Yes.
Yes, I've heard that. You told me that before. Thank you for
Well, that's
loving me with all
good.
your liver.
I love you with all my liver, honey.
Cheers.
And to healthy livers.
Yes. That's really good. Cheers, cheers, cheers.
Cheers. The juice.
Cheers.
Super drink. Yay. Yay.
All right.
Cheers.
I'll get down so you can see everybody else.
I'd say Jay's out.
This is my favorite glass of juice I've had.
Now that was really fun. Not only did Charlene and I get a chance to taste Sherry's amazing juice recipes, but the entire video team did as well. We all had such a good time with Sherry that day. Next up, we're going to learn from RSB, Robert Scott Bell, as he discusses his 3 favorite homeopathic remedies for the liver.
My 3 favorite, and I talk about them all the time from a homeopathic realm for the liver. They're polycrest. They work on many systems, but the liver primarily, Bryonia alba, Nux vomica, Chelidonium. These are great liver polycrest type remedies. And so these things, along with other things that can be adjuncts, you can work with the kidneys. And by the way, it's interesting about the kidneys. When we talk about kidney detox, remember the kidneys are absolutely passively downstream from the liver. It's the liver that's really at fault when the kidneys suffer. And I'll say, taking the person out who's eating the wrong things, right? If the liver is not at 100% functionality, it will pass things through it that it should be able to process and alter for the kidneys to safely deliver through the urine and out of the body. Okay. When the liver is compromised, it will send things down that the kidneys are not designed by God to handle. And so what we're doing by restoring function, metabolic function to the liver, we're actually also simultaneously enhancing kidney function because we're reducing its burden. Whether we put kidney remedies in there as well, we can. Taraxacum, which is the dandelion, which is an herb, is great for the liver, also beneficial for the kidneys, works both ways in that case. Berberis, there are so many great homeopathic remedies that we can do in, again, gentle way, and we can control the pace, or you can control the pace that you go, so it's not too fast. And if you want it to be faster, you can make it faster. That's the thing about bringing the power to heal back to the people. Bringing the power to detox back to the people means we want to control the pace so they're not out of control, scared, and all the things that a lot of people are. I want to carry them gently through that if it's at all possible, and it is. But these are the unique things that a lot of folks still don't know about. In fact, on Unlock the Power to Heal, I think I've mentioned Bryonia when we talk about lungs, because there's a whole chapter on lungs. Yeah. The reason it's good for the lungs is really because it's primarily focusing on the liver, which benefits the kidneys. In Chinese medicine, they know of the link between liver, kidneys, or kidneys and lungs. And so when we take Bryonia for the liver, you think you're taking it for the lungs because it's indicated for a cough, right? It's really having its most impact on the liver, which clears the lungs. The lungs compensate, become organs of excretion beyond CO2. When our liver kidneys are compromised, when the lymph is clogged, and you feel the lungs are filling with mucus, or even in worst case scenarios, liquids in pneumonia situations, the body is dumping things out through another excretory organ designed normally to be a CO2, O2 exchange. Right. In this case, it becomes a dumping ground for toxins, debris, etc. So by enhancing a polycrest remedy like Bryonia, you found, wow, it's helping the lungs so much. Why? Because it's helping the liver so much.
You know, we have all these problems with obesity right now, and people don't realize the liver is really what causes the majority of the obesity because it can't process all the endocrine disrupting chemicals and everything else. Right. And usually what you see after the 3rd liver cleanse is the weight starting to come off because the liver is what processes your fats too. So if the liver can't process your fats, it's going to store them somewhere in your body.
How many people do you know are overweight?
Depends on what country, but in the United States, a third.
Okay, so they're not just overweight.
They're obese.
Oh, they're obese.
Yeah.
Now, you cannot be obese unless you're highly toxic. Now, your body creates fat cells. Why does it create fat cells? Because you're toxic. Now, you need to remember that. Your body creates fat cells because you're toxic. And yes, you could say, well, no, it's because I eat too much. No, it's because you eat too much of the wrong thing. It doesn't matter how much you eat if it was the right thing. So you eat too much of the wrong thing, which is highly toxic. So your fat cells need to store all these toxins. Why? Well, because your body's smart. It says we're going to create fat until you wake up. Because if we don't create fat to store these toxins, which is, right, your love handles, especially when your kidneys are in trouble. When your colon's in trouble, you develop the fat around your core. Okay? So we know that in fat cells, your fat cells hold 200 times more toxins than the blood. Now think about how much toxins is in all these fat cells, Ty.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Well, all you have to do is the fatter you are, the more toxic you are.
Our liver gets congested, our colon gets congested, and tissue spaces, and these toxins get stored in fat cells, and we can't lose weight, and people get frustrated, and they feel tired and sick, and they don't know what's wrong with them. We got to go after it. We got to get it out of our bodies, and on its way. And so that is why I'm so excited to talk with you about the fact that we can cleanse our colon, we can cleanse our liver, we can cleanse our kidneys, we can do heavy metal detox.
Sherry Calbom just mentioned heavy metal detox, and we'll get to that in a moment, but she also mentioned the correlation between a toxic liver and obesity, as did Dr. Group and Dr. Wolf. You see, a congested liver, which processes fats, is one cause of obesity. The fat cells store the toxins that the liver isn't able to process. A study published in Clinical Endocrinology found a link between high cortisol levels and fatty liver disease. Cortisol is our main stress hormone released during times of acute and chronic stress. When levels are higher than normal over a period of time, this can cause a host of problems, including decreased liver function. It's interesting, isn't it? RSB just shared with us some potent homeopathic liver detoxifiers that will help restore metabolic function and also reduce the burden on the kidneys. Just to recap, they are Bryonia alba, which actually helps the liver, lungs, and the kidneys. But beware, the berries are extremely poisonous, and if you eat more than about 40 of them, it'll probably kill you. Nux vomica, which clears liver congestion and constriction due to toxins like tobacco, and chelidonium, which removes enlargement, inflammation, etc. of the liver, and taraxacum, which is also known as dandelion. On the screen are the plants, but these plants are then made into homeopathic remedies. Next up, our experts share some important tips about detoxifying the largest organ in the body. Can you guess what that is? No, it's not your brain. No, it's not your heart. It's your skin.
When you use anything on your skin, on your hair, on your nails, it seeps in, and your skin is porous. It's the biggest elimination organ in your body. And the problem is it seeps in and it goes into your organs. It goes into your liver, your kidneys, and all that. And the problem is that, again, it builds up and then it causes your immune system to be suppressed.
Look up at Environmental Working Group, a subsidiary of the Environmental Defense Network. They put together a cosmetic database which lists hundreds of thousands of ingredients found in over-the-counter cosmetics that we should be avoiding. Things that are found in our personal hygiene products, lipstick. We're literally wearing toxins on a day-to-day basis. Okay, lead, cadmium, phthalates. We're washing our hair with the stuff. We're shaving with the stuff. This is a huge burden. Get rid of it. Learn how spraying yourself with cologne or perfume in the morning is imbalancing your own personal hormonal levels. Those are toxins. We don't need them.
The problem that we have with the skin is it's malfunctioning. And it's malfunctioning, especially with women. The skin is a large detoxification organ. I mean, sweating, that's one of our pathways of detoxification. When people are taking showers or bathing, I highly recommend they get a shower filter, number one, because they're exposing their skin to more toxins. We see a lot of problems in women with their skin because women are the ones that lather on all these chemical lotions all over their skin, all over their face. They use cosmetics, and all of these contain high-level cancer-causing agents, disease-causing agents, and that does get soaked in through the skin, and that ultimately goes directly into the bloodstream.
So what you want to do then is you're probably going to have a shower, right? Well, you could do natural skin brushing with a dry brush, and that's excellent. Get the dead skin off, get the circulation going. But the best thing to do is to get Epsom salts.
Okay.
And then what we do is we take 10 pounds of it. We make a big container.
Okay.
And we wet it down to the consistency of sand, and we use our structured water unit to make sure it's structured water.
Okay.
Then what we do is we take essential oil of Muscle Restore. You could use any essential oil you want.
Okay.
Put lots of it in there. So now the Epsom salt's the consistency of sand. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take coconut oil and 1/10 of it. So that'd be 1 pound to 10 pounds Epsom salt.
Okay.
You're going to massage that in. If you take that, and I don't care if you've got arthritis, I don't care if you've got water retention, I don't care if you've got kidney problems, I don't care if you've got liver problems. You remember your skin is your largest cleansing organ.
Yeah.
Yeah, but everybody forgets about it. How would you like to have your skin help out your colon, your liver, your kidneys, your lungs, help out your bloodstream, because that's what it does. It's an amazing tool.
Okay.
So what you do then is you go into the shower. I have a little white stool in mine. I sit on there, and what I do is I start off and I scrub briskly with this. I grab it and I scrub briskly and my whole body. But when it comes to my joints, I'll take this and I'll go like this.
Okay.
And I'll go like this around my wrist.
Okay.
I'll really scrub hard on my elbows, my knees. I'll even do my face. And you will find that when you do that, you'll jack up your circulation, all right, by about 10, 20 times.
And you're talking about with the Epsom salt mixture, you're scrubbing.
That's
Okay.
right. So you want to do that at least 3 times a week. And I'll tell you something, what's going to happen, you'll see your wrinkles dissolve. Now,
Okay.
if you see your wrinkles dissolving, we know that we're regenerating, right?
Yeah.
So your lymph system needs help, your blood needs help, and you want to slough off all of those skin cells. Yeah, it's amazing. So now that we've done that, we'll have a shower. Now, if you're the type of person who has a sauna, then you wouldn't use coconut oil in there. You'd use the Epsom salts with the essential oils, and you would do the scrub really well, and then you would take a shower in a structured shower, not a chlorinated one, because people don't realize that when you take a shower in a chlorinated shower, and they have fluoride in here in Toronto, but when you do that, one 10-minute shower, you're taking in 10 to 20 glasses worth of chlorine and fluoride as if you drank it into your system. So people think, well, I'll just buy filtered water and I won't worry about the shower.
Whenever you take a shower, is to do dry skin brushing.
Okay.
So you take a dry skin brush that has natural bristles. So many times people say, oh, what about the loofah sponge? It's too harsh. Like, would you want to use like a loofah sponge on your body?
What is the loofah
sponge? Girls would know this one. So it's a type of plant that they dry out, and it's really hard.
Okay.
And they sell it in all the beauty supply stores and all that. But women oftentimes use that in the shower to scrub their skin and get rid of the dry skin, especially on the bottom of their feet and all that
Too
stuff.
hard, though.
Too hard, way too hard. And it doesn't do the job, because here's the deal. When you're in the shower and you're scrubbing, whether it's with a wash rag or a brush, it's wet, right? When you do it before and your body is dry, it actually causes a little friction. And that little friction stimulates those lymph nodes to move. And the more they move, what did we just say, the more it could move the toxins along the way they're supposed to. So it does that, plus it gets your skin pore open, because as you're brushing, you actually can see dust particles coming up. And you're like, whoa, where's that coming from? Well, you have layers of skin. And as the dry skin brushing is brushing your skin, you're seeing those dry flakes coming up. It's like, wow, it's like, that's off of me? Yes, and that means it's opening up your pores. You now can breathe, your skin could breathe better. You now get more energy. So you're getting more oxygen in, you're getting more of the nutrients in. Now, if you put lotion on, and you put lotion on your skin, what happens?
You clog the pores back up.
And you don't want to do that.
Okay.
The best skin formulator in the world, I went to a conference and I asked her that very question. I said, you have these beautiful skincare lines and lotions. Which one do you recommend for me? She said, really? If you're going to do this right, none of them. And I was like, really? I talked to her after, like, why did you tell me that? She said, because the truth of the matter is you could put olive oil, coconut oil, all those things on there, but the best thing is dry skin brushing. Now, to ramp it up, I'm just going to add one more thing on this one. When you're in the shower then, so you do this before your shower,
okay.
And then you're in the shower and you have a plastic bowl with sea salt. And you just fill it up with sea salt and you keep it in there. And what you do after you're done with your shower is you take a handful and you're going to scrub your skin. Now, why would that be good again?
You're mineralizing.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
salt.
You're mineralizing, plus you're stimulating the lymph glands again, the lymph nodes, and you're also getting off the dry, flaky skin. So how often do you do that? Now, that's much harsher because salt, of course, is quite abrasive. So maybe once a week, twice a week. People, though, who have serious sickness, I often tell them do that every day because you need the extra minerals, you need the extra circulation, maybe you get tired of dry skin brushing, but do that in the shower and then just rinse off and your skin comes out really, really smooth and you feel more energized. You feel like, wow, what just happened? You know, it makes that much of a difference. Detox baths, clay baths, and my combo bath. There's the two that I talk about.
Okay.
So clay bath is where you take bentonite clay. Bentonite clay.
Bentonite.
Okay. Yeah. So you take about a cup or two of powder clay and you put in your hot bath, you swirl it around. Or not, you just hop in the bath and you play with it while you're in there and get rid of the lumps and put it all over your body so you get clay. Here's the deal with clay though, it's powerful. I mean, I studied with V.E. Iron's family, old school nutritionists who put it on the map and they had such success with it. I was like, I gotta learn about how to use this clay. Clay can be used internally or externally, but for this particular teaching, I don't want to talk about internally because that's a whole nother program, but Externally, you put in a bath, 2 cups, and then you let it swirl in there and you soak for 30 minutes. And it draws through your skin. Remember that skin, everything is going in and out of the skin. It draws the toxins out through the skin. And so many times people say, well, you know, I've got rashes coming out as they're detoxing. That's very typical. And it's like, it'll go away, especially when you put the clay on. The clay will help draw that out. So you put it in the bathtub, 30 minutes, and you sweat, 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 and that's the idea. Okay. So you're doing 2 things. Detoxing is all about getting the toxins out, right? And the clay helps pull it out, but the sweat helps to get rid of the toxins as well. Real hot bath, if you could take it. Now, some people can't, and that's okay. And if they want to, now there's some people who've detoxed before, and if they want to go to the next level, the advanced level, so what they would do is they put the clay in, 2 cups of clay, and they'd soak 30 minutes in hot water. And while they're in there, they're going to drink 2 cups of hot water with lemon, or hot dandelion root tea, or some herbal tea, and drink that. So now you're really sweating. You're really getting rid of the toxins really quickly. It's fantastic because that gets rid of it really fast. And afterwards, cool shower, drink some coconut water, lay down. That's the biggest mistake everybody makes. When you're detoxing, your body takes a lot of effort to get rid of the poison. And if they can't rest, the body actually says, well, I can't get rid of it, so I'm going to keep it. That's scary, right? So it's a good idea to rest at least an hour, even go to sleep, because it's a great time to go to sleep. So that's clay bath. And then the second bath is the combo bath. So have you heard of the combo bath with the baking soda, sea salt? Right. So it's 2 cups of sea salt, 2 cups of baking soda, and 2 cups of Epsom salt. And again, soak 30 minutes, you put it all in there, and it's more relaxing kind of bath. It's salt is drawing, Epsom salt is relaxing, and the baking soda is alkalizing, right? So all those factors are nice. Sometimes people ask me, can you mix the combo bath with the clay bath? I don't personally like to do that. I like to keep it separate because it's just, I feel like clay bath is doing its thing and the combo bath is doing its thing, and then, I don't know, this is my personal thing. I like to keep it separate.
Those are some really practical tips from Dr. Judy Seeger on how to use baths to help detoxify your body, specifically your skin. I think sometimes we overlook the importance of ensuring that our skin products, including our deodorants, are clean and toxin-free. Just as an example, in 2016, a Birmingham, Alabama woman's family was awarded $72 million for her cancer death due to talcum powder, which Johnson & Johnson knew caused cancer. The jury found Johnson & Johnson guilty of negligence, conspiracy, and fraud. Next up, Dr. Group shares some powerful tips on detoxifying the skin through sweating and through saunas.
One of the ways to open up the detoxification pathway in the skin, and after you're done cleansing or during your cleansing, is you want to open up your body's natural elimination pathways. You open up the skin pathways through exercise, sweating. You could go into near infrared. You can get near infrared lights now where they're saying works even better than far infrared. Far infrared saunas, anything like that, but really just moving around and sweating. Sweating is a great way to detoxify. What we've seen in the last 10 years, which is one of the major problems, is sunscreens. People are lathering on sunscreens and we're deficient in vitamin D, and the sunscreens are actually causing more cancer than if you didn't even use sunscreen.
Too many people today, they're on processed toxic junk food and they're on medications. The medications are so toxic that your liver is entirely occupied trying to detoxify you from these synthetic chemicals that it doesn't really have the bandwidth to detoxify you from toxic food. So in other words, if you're taking 10 prescription medications and you're eating barbecue on top of that, the barbecue is going right to cancer because the drugs have occupied your liver. Essentially. I mean, I'm simplifying it, but this is essentially how it works. Get off the meds, eat organic.
Yeah.
Now you're healing at a rapid pace. That's detoxification. In fact, new research came out, I think just yesterday, and I haven't yet done an article on this, but it said that the expression of your genes is controlled by the food that you eat. And we've known this for a long time, you and I and maybe most of the viewers. But science, conventional science is now saying, aha, your genes almost don't matter. What matters is how they're expressed, which is controlled by the food. What's in the food? Well, it's either toxins or it's healing nutrients. It's actually healthy to eat some vegetables that have a little bit of dirt on them, a little bit of garden microbes. You need to have a healthy balance with the microbes around you. We don't live in a sterile environment. There's not a situation where you're going to be microbe free. The only question is, are they helping you or are they hurting you? You know, all these toxins that we talk about, they don't just affect your liver and your kidneys and your heart, they affect your brain. You know, where do you think Alzheimer's and dementia comes from? It's these toxins circulating in your brain. You know, you've got these carotid arteries, right? Pumping that blood right through all your neurons, right? Remember that where that blood comes from? It's made from the stuff you ate yesterday. So if you ate junk food, you're going to get junk brain.
True. If you ate junk food, you're going to get junk brain. But why? Because the toxins in the food you eat are pumped through your carotid arteries right into your brain, and it can circulate in your brain and affect your health in a negative way. In this next segment, Sherry Calbone shares an extremely personal story with us of how she overcame illness and regained her health. I think that this will inspire you.
In my 20s, I had chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia. I was so sick I couldn't work any longer. I had overgrowth of yeast, hypoglycemia, on and on. And would sleep for 12 hours and get up tired and feel like I had the flu all the time. They say you dig your grave with your teeth. We really do. Most of us in the U.S. dig our graves with our teeth by our bad choices. And it was all about what I liked and didn't like. I didn't like vegetables. And I liked junk food and fast food. That's what was, and sugar, sweets, loved sweets. That's what was killing me. I never give up. I just keep trying. So I thought, I'm not going to buy what the doctors say, that there's nothing I can do, because that's what I was told. And there's a way out of this. And so I found it. I found it through juicing and changing my diet and detoxing. And that's when my health began to turn around until I was completely well and felt better than I'd ever felt in my life. I was so appreciative that I found my way to life. I found my way out of that dark hole, and I was so appreciative. I never felt guilty about what I did. I felt happy that I had found truth, found my way. And the sad part is I don't feel that my mother had to die. Had she known the truth that I know, I think she could have lived. Could have lived a long and happy life. I think of my mother a lot and how I wish she could be one of my success stories. I have a lot of them. But I do this for her and for all the other moms and daughters and husbands and people, all the people out there who have somebody they love and they don't want to lose them. You don't have to lose them. You don't have to lose your life, and you don't have to suffer. So many people suffer a lot because they just don't know the way. They don't know what to do. So if there's one thing I can give people, it's hope that there's a lot you can do to turn your health around, prevent illness, or heal it if you're sick.
There are now compounds identified in common foods like broccoli, for example, ginger, garlic, that are so powerful at enhancing our natural detoxification systems. So broccoli extract has sulforaphane, which is a molecule that I've identified through the research on the National Library of Medicine to have over 100 health benefits. And I'm at the point in my research now where I believe that we ate these cruciferous and sulfur-containing vegetables for so long that our bodies have adapted, if you will, to needing them on a daily basis. So why do we develop cancer? Yeah, chemical exposure is one of the reasons. Well, you know, another one is deficiency of vegetables and phytocompounds. Some of the most acknowledged beneficial detoxifiers are things like parsley, cilantro, ginger. Probably one of my favorite of all is turmeric, because if you look at the research on its abilities to help prevent, and to even treat a wide range of conditions, it certainly has a great reputation as far as even doing things like chelating metal in the body and neutralizing a lot of the toxicity of the modern age.
Here is a great life-saving tip. With every meal where you're eating something that is cooked or that has meat in it, or anything fried, for example, where you have cancer-causing chemicals in the food, acrylamides from frying carbohydrates, for example, or even eating toast. If it's brown or if it's black, Those are cancer-causing chemicals in the toast, right? You made them by burning it. Any meal where you have that, eat fresh fruit fibers with the meal. That could be strawberries, blueberries are some of my favorite. Strawberries have very thick fibers that tend to latch on to toxic chemicals in the food. Well, when they do that, they carry those toxic chemicals and heavy metals even all the way through your system, and you flush it out through your bowels without it ever going into your blood. So you can actually eat, think about this, you could eat barbecued beef together with coleslaw, which is how they're served here in Texas, right? Barbecue and coleslaw. The coleslaw has, I'm drooling thinking about it, sounds delicious. The coleslaw has cabbage, raw cabbage, and it has anti-cancer effects that counteract the cancer-causing burned fat in the barbecue. So if you're going to eat barbecue, never eat it alone.
That's the HCAs, right?
There are hundreds of different chemicals, but yeah, they're all carcinogens, right? So learn how to combine protective foods with, if you're going to eat foods that could be compromising to your health, get raw vegetables and raw fruits in that same meal. And what you're doing is you're kind of having a bulletproof vest, if you will, for your personal health in your diet.
That's great. That's a great suggestion. If you're eating a meat that might have the HCAs or the other different carcinogens that are created when you heat proteins, eat something like cabbage with it, right?
Yes.
Raw cabbage,
Right.
which is coleslaw.
Right.
Now, it may not be the best source of beef, or might not be the right mayonnaise in the coleslaw, but we get your position on that. So that makes a lot of sense.
Or have an apple, or have half an orange, or a whole orange. But I don't mean orange juice. I'm talking about the fiber of the orange. You want the orange fiber and even the white fiber inside the peel. You want as much of that as you can get. Blueberries are great because they tend to gel up and they create a fibrous mass. Chia seeds are also very good for this because they're gelatinous, right?
Right.
And they slow the glycemic index as well of the things that you eat. The way I eat now, I call it defensive eating.
Okay.
And this is absolutely key. With every meal, you must have raw salad greens or raw cabbage, raw broccoli, raw blueberries, raw strawberries, something that is potent as a plant in its raw state, and it counteracts anything that you're eating. And you should mix this up. Don't always have blueberries. Don't always have strawberries. Pick something different. You know, your body needs different nutrients. So you need to eat according to what you feel you need, but also in a variety of different colors and different textures in your food. So if you're going to eat a hamburger, for example, load up on the raw onions and the raw lettuce and the pickles and mustard. Did you know mustard is essentially Chinese medicine? It's the mustard seed, and it's very, very bitter. And these bitters enhance liver function, and they boost immune function. Mustard is one of the healthiest condiments that is still in the American diet.
I love mustard.
And mustard's great.
Yeah.
Now, if you go to places like India, they use turmeric in everything. They will add turmeric powder to a beverage. They will add turmeric powder to a soup or a stew all the time. They eat lots and lots of turmeric. So it's anti-cancer.
I add it to my
It's
eggs.
anti-inflammation. Good, yeah. It also enhances the color too, doesn't it?
It does.
So one of the best things that we should be doing in America is eating more turmeric on a day-to-day basis. We should be more like the people of India in that case. But guess what? Turmeric usually has some amount of lead in it because it's grown in soils that have a history of being contaminated with certain pesticides like lead arsenate, a combination of lead and arsenic. It kills insects. They sprayed it on all the crops all over the world for decades, even in the United States. This is one reason there's so much lead in the soil. So if you eat turmeric, guess what? Combine it with a wedge of apple. You get all the benefits of the turmeric, the anti-cancer, the anti-inflammation. Plus, you get the cleansing process of the apple, the fruit fibers, the pectin, binds with the lead. So the bad stuff goes out, the good stuff goes in.
Wow.
This is combination eating, defensive eating to prevent your body from becoming toxic. Let me give you another practical example for everybody watching. You know how most people juice, they have a juicer and they're making juice with fruits and vegetables. right? So they're throwing away all the pulp, and they're taking the juice, and the juice goes right in. A lot of people who are recovering from cancer, let's say, are juicing. Yep. And it's great. It's very powerful. It's anti-cancer. You know, when you get beets in there and you get parsley in there and all these things. Well, I have a better way to do this that's even more powerful. And that's separate your vegetables and your fruits, because the fruits have pulp that you want. It's soluble fiber. A lot of it is. Okay. The vegetables is mostly insoluble fiber, causes bloating and gas and discomfort. So what you do is you juice your vegetables, so you get this beautiful green juice, no fiber. You take your fruits, you blend them up in a Vitamix with water, so you have pulp that's digestible. Then you pour those together. So you add your green juice to your blended fruits.
And now it tastes great.
Now it tastes great. It's got a thick smoothie texture, but it's not gross and chunky like celery fiber. You don't need to eat celery fiber, believe me.
Yeah.
You know, maybe your goat does, but you don't.
Right.
But apple fiber you need. Pear fiber, you know, fibers of these fruits you need. So you can juice carrots and celery and beets and parsley and pour it into a blend of apples and pears and oranges and lemons. Drink that. Man, that's medicine. If you wanted to go party with your friends on July 4th or Super Bowl or whatever, and you were just saying, I'm going to party with my friends and have a beer and eat a bunch of barbecue until I'm, you know, bloated. The way to protect yourself from that is have like a big 16 ounce of vegetable juice with fruit fiber. You can mix it in advance, put it in a glass jar like I do. You saw I bring glass jars full of smoothies. Take that to the Super Bowl. Drink it in your car before you walk in so you don't get made fun of, you know. You can go in and eat all the burgers you want with that. You've got the protection. I'm not saying eat burgers every day, but on occasion, not going to hurt you if you work it this way.
Right. I absolutely love those practical suggestions from Mike Adams, what he calls defensive eating at its finest, like combining coleslaw, cabbage with barbecue, or combining blueberries, strawberries, and chia seeds with foods that may contain some toxins, like combining turmeric, typically high in lead, with an apple, like adding mustard, onions, and pickles to a hamburger, and like juicing vegetables while combining with the pulp, soluble fiber, and juice of fruits. If you understand these food combinations, then it's okay to fall off the wagon every now and then and splurge. Just do it in a responsible manner and utilize the preventative eating tips that Mike Adams just shared with us. Are there any miracle substances for detoxification? Let's listen to Dr. Bryce Wild on this important subject.
There are no miracles to detoxification. The miracle is getting the body to do what it is inherently made to do even better on its own. Releasing those enzymes, those cascades, but biochemical at the level of the cell to be able to throw the trash away. That phase 1 and phase 2, to release it, it's like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. It's just allowing the individual to live the life they were meant to live.
We're not giving people information that hasn't already been proven. All these detoxification strategies and all these remedies and all this stuff that was available from 2,000 years before Christ, we're just, in this age, all the books that were burned by the AMA and the Medical Society, we're bringing back. The good news about cleansing is you can still see your healthcare practitioner. I still recommend everybody have a natural health care practitioner in their town or wherever they are. It doesn't matter if you do our cleanses or anybody else's cleanses out there. The main goal and focus is, how do you reactivate your body's self-healing mechanism?
Unless you try the detox, unless you try juicing, you really won't know. You may be skeptical and you may be thinking, how could just a few glasses of juice and something so simple like you're telling me, how could it really do all that? Just try it, right?
Just try it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for coming into our home, and we have juiced quite a bit. These are probably the best juices, including juice bars we've been to. So you have a juice book that people could get to get your recipes. I'm going to write down.
Do you have a book,
I do.
Jerry?
Hanging out on the table, the Living Foods Revolution.
Okay.
We have a lot of wonderful green juices in there.
I would get these because
And the
she
sugar
is
knockout.
a good recipe maker. I mean, these are just great juices. So,
And there's a chapter on detox in there and going through the different organs and kind of leading people through at least some of what I've said.
Well, that's
you.
great. Great information. So we'll leave you with this. There's a time to live, a time to die, a time to sleep, and a time to juice.
I love it. That is wonderful. Oh, cheers to that.